For a lot of you sports bettors out there, I know it's been a tough year. Anyway, let's start this off with the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? This is a primetime game, okay? The Falcons are going to roll into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay coming off yet a disappointing loss, which hurt a lot of sports bettors, amateurs like me, and professionals that are out there. Okay, wow. I would love to take the -6, but I'm not. I'm going to take the +6, even though this game's at home. After seeing them struggle against the Saints, I would think that the Buccaneers will rebound with a stronger game and put a punishing blow to the Atlanta Falcons and end their dreams of even thinking about a chance getting back into the playoffs, which they're not. Okay, the Falcons are just disappointing all around. Too much talent to be in this position. I don't see them winning this game. I'm moneylining the Buccaneers. I'm taking the over and under. I'm going with the under 44.5. I think the Buccaneers are struggling somewhat on offense for quite some time. The +6 is only because it's a division rival and they're going to keep this game close, okay? Get touchdowns from Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. For the Buccaneers, touchdowns will probably come from Bucky Irving, Amika Ibuka, who hasn't been in the end zone in quite some time, at least from what I remember. Okay, lot of talent on that football team, but they're just not playing up to it. I think Chris Godwin could get in the end zone in this one. All right, let's move on from this. Okay, another disappointing team, the Baltimore Ravens, are going to head to the Cincinnati Bengals, who both suffered disappointing losses this past week. And Baltimore, obviously, the officiating got involved, but you still had no business losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You should have been running the ball. You had over 200 yards rushing. Why didn't you stay on the ground with Derrick Henry? That probably would have weakened their defense a little bit more, and you guys would have kept that Steelers offense off the field. Not that they're a juggernaut, but the fact that the Ravens got away from Derrick Henry this season it's really disappointing. I just don't understand the OC from Baltimore, and it's just a disappointing season for the Ravens. As for the Bengals, losing Joe Burrow at the beginning of the season and then coming back, they had a decent shot. I thought if they had gone by the Buffalo Bills, this might be a situation where the Bengals might make a run for the division title. I don't see it now. It's a tough loss. 2 Joe Burrow interceptions late in that game cost them. But I'm still going to money line of Ravens, and I'm going to call it an upset win if they beat Baltimore. I'm taking the over and under of 51.5. I'm going with the over, and I'm going to take that -2.5, all right? But I'm also going to asterisk this game because I feel like the touchdowns should come from Derrick Henry this weekend, okay? It should come from Lamar Jackson, okay, or Mark Andrews, okay? They're going to keep this ball on the ground, I think, to keep that Bengals offense off the field. They always give the Ravens problems. Cincinnati, you're always going to get something from Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown, okay? Let's move on from that game. Let's do the, I was about to say Oakland Raiders. I wish they were in Oakland. Let's go with the Las Vegas Raiders going to the Philadelphia Eagles. A disappointing loss for the Eagles, right? Jalen Hurts, just a terrible football game for him. A.J. Brown, another one who had a bad game, just the dropsies. I don't know, bitches about catching the ball every weekend. And then when it's thrown to him, he just proceeds to drop it. So that was a huge loss. What looked like the defending champs this season, looking solid, are now starting to come back to earth and starting to look not like the team you're going to depend on in the playoffs. But you never know. All the money in Vegas is going to roll to the Eagles. Yet again, this is a game that looks like upset city. Be careful because that -12.5 that I'm taking, I would suggest that you guys take that +12.5. I just think that you're going to get an angry Eagles team with that defense. And maybe a score like 20-9 is maybe what you're going to get out of this game. I'm moneylining the Eagles. I'm taking the under of 40.5, and I'm going to take that -12.5. I just think defensively they'll manage to keep the Raiders out of, well, I don't want to say out of the end zone, but it could happen. If you're going to get a touchdown, probably be Brock Bowers. For the Eagles, look for A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. Yet again, the tush push from Jalen Hurts. That's pretty much it. Let's move on from that game. Let's go now to the Arizona Cardinals going up to the Houston Texans. Man, Texans are with that defense, they are looking solid. If they could just get more from that offense, I would say that this team has a great chance to get to the Super Bowl. But with a great defense, what happens? You can travel on the road in the playoffs and get there. But season's not over yet, and I don't want to say that the Texans are in yet. They do have to get by the Colts and Jaguars. But anyway, this is a game they must have. This is a game they should have. Yet again, all the money's going to push towards the Texans, but not by much. Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. He's like Jameis Winston. He likes to throw the ball around. He's proven that. He's a much better passer than Kyler Murray. And if Kyler Murray has been a healthy scratch for the last several weeks and you're going with Brissett, that speaks a lot, speaks volumes about the player that Kyler Murray is as a passer. So look for touchdowns from Trey McBride, maybe Amari DiMarcado, Bam Knight. That's going to be rough because they're going up against a tough defense. Maybe Trey McBride is the guy go here for a touchdown. For the Texans, it's always Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Woody Marks, maybe Nick Chubb. But anyway, that's where I stand with my touchdown parlays. So look for the money line with the Texans. Look for the over and under. We're going to go with 42.5. We're going to go with the under. And we're going to take that -7, only because the Texans' defense is tough to get into the end zone. Okay, the next game, this is going to be a tough game for the Los Angeles Chargers, coming off a tremendous victory. And I believe they're going to come off that high in a bad way. I think the Chiefs don't care about the Chargers and where they're heading. The Chiefs kind of ruin somewhat of their chances to get in the playoffs. They're still in contention. Anything can happen. But I think if the Chiefs really want to get back into the playoffs, this is the game they have to have. They just have to have. This is a desperate football team. Difference between the Chiefs and the Eagles is that the Eagles were in first place, okay? The only threat was the Dallas Cowboys 2 games back. The Chiefs' threat is everyone that's in contention in the AFC, okay? And they don't have a chance to win the division. They were eliminated by that. So they're fighting for their wild card lives. And the best way to do it is to beat the next opponent, which is the AFC opponent that's heading into the playoffs almost, right? Chargers are right there. If the Chargers are going to be that team and make the playoffs, they got to win this game. This is a tough game. I think money's going to roll on both ends. I think the Chiefs are going to pull the upset. I'm looking for the Kansas City Chiefs to win. I'm moneylining the Chiefs. I'm taking the over of 44.5. I think the Chiefs could squeak out this win by a point or two. That's why I'm taking a +4.5. I think the Chargers' touchdowns will probably come from Vidal. Maybe Keenan Allen gets in there. Ladd McConkey. We got to start getting Ladd McConkey into that end zone, guys. As for the Chiefs, you got Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. Those guys will probably be around the end zone. But I'm looking at upset city here. I think the Chargers come off that high a little bit. They could ride the high and go into Kansas City and probably finally put that nail in the coffin to the Chiefs and keep them out. But this is a desperate football team, and I think the Chiefs will pull this one out. Okay, we have the Buffalo Bills. Okay, and this is another tough game. Now, if you saw my futures bets, I said that the Patriots were maybe a year or two away. Maybe a year away because, this offseason they did a lot of work, bringing in veterans along with free agents. I didn't think that was going to work as quickly as it did. But Mike Vrabel, probably coach of the year, has done a fantastic job with Drake May as quarterback, maybe MVP of the year. They are having an incredible season, incredible. In first place, they've been on a hot winning streak. I think Buffalo takes them down this weekend, guys. I'm moneylining the Buffalo Bills. I'm taking the over and under of the over of 47.5. I think both teams will be scoring in this game, but I'm going to take that +1.5 because currently I jumped on the early lines because they have the Bills as +1.5. Okay, they got the Patriots as the favorite. Now it's going to be even money. So I think this game's going to come down to probably a field goal at the end, or maybe a late touchdown, maybe a tush push by Josh Allen, something like that. Look for touchdowns from James Cook, Josh Allen. Let me see. Who would be a guy I would? Oh, Dalton Kincaid, a tight end, right? Now for the Patriots, look for Stephon Diggs, okay? Especially after what the Bengals receivers were doing to the Bills. And that secondary's been a little shaky. So look for, Stephon Diggs to make some noise. Look for maybe Demario Douglas or maybe Kyle Williams, right? These are guys that could give you some plus numbers in that touchdown parlay. Look for Travion or Ramondre Stevenson to get in the end zone. So money line the Bills, take the over and under, over 47.5, and take that plus 1.5. I'm going with Buffalo in this game. I just think that the Patriots are going to know what it's like to feel after 10 days rest. They're going to really feel what it's like to be in playoff contention now. Now is when the season gets serious for the Patriots, and we'll see what they're made of. All right, the next game. Okay, we got the Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, all the money's going to roll the Jaguars. So you know what Vegas is going to do. This is upset city here, right? Jets are going to roll in after being obliterated, right, by the Miami Dolphins. Now they're going to go into Jacksonville. They're going to play their asses off. As always, right, this is the way it goes. But they might be going in there with a third-string quarterback and Brady Cook. I don't know how healthy Tyrod Taylor is going to be. It's just been a disappointing season for the Jets. I don't see any hope of them winning in Jacksonville, okay? Look for the Jaguars to defeat the Jets, right? We're going to money line the Jaguars. We're going to take the over and under of 43.5. We're going to take that minus 9.5. Touchdowns from Travis Etienne, maybe Jacoby Myers, and look for Brenton Strange. And then for the Jets, Breece Hall is always the guy I'm always going to roll with. This is a team that struggles getting in the end zone. All right, let's move on. Let me pause this tape for a second, and then we'll get to the other games. All right, guys, thank you for being patient and waiting. I will show you on the whiteboard what I picked. Okay, the next game we got here, we're going to have the Giants, okay? This is going to be an interesting game because it's the Commanders coming to the New York Giants, the Jackson Dart Giants, right? This is a tough one. I didn't know where to go. These guys got shut out by the Vikings. So that was a shocking loss to the Vikings, the way that happened. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like the Commanders were the better team anyway. But to get shut out in the NFL, that's a very rare thing to happen. I just think the Commanders have too much talent. But I am going to moneyline the Giants in this game. It's at New York, and I think the Giants are one of those teams where they'll surprise you every now and then. But take the under of 47.5, especially after what I saw from the Commanders' offense, and then losing Zach Ertz, their tight end. So that's going to hurt their offense. The spread, I think the Commanders were favored coming into this game at minus 2.5. We're going to take the plus 2.5. I just think the Giants are just a better team coming into this game, okay? So look for touchdowns from maybe Bellinger, the tight end, maybe Theo Johnson, maybe Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy, maybe Wan'Dale Robinson. As for the Commanders, they didn't score last weekend, which was disappointing. Ruined one of my touchdown parlays. But look for Terry McLaurin. He's always been a giant beater. Look for Debo. Okay, Chris Rodriguez. That's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next game. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Chicago Bears. Okay, I'm a money line the Bears. They're coming off a tough loss against the Green Bay Packers. They really need this game. If you're going to be that team, you got to beat this team, okay? The over and under, I'm going to take the over of 39.5. I think that most of the points will come from the Bears. And I'm going to take the minus 7.5. I think the Bears' defense will shut down Shedeur Sanders. Touchdowns from the Browns will come from Quinyon Judkins. Okay, I love that kid. I don't know if any receivers are going to get in the end zone for the Cleveland Browns, but you never know. And if I had to pick a receiver, it's going to be Jerry Jeudy. I like Harold Fanini, if that's his name, right? Harold Fanini Jr., the tight end. I like him. For the Bears, I like Kyle Monange. I got DeAndre Swift. I don't know if Rome Monduze will play in this game. So look for Burden and DJ Moore to get in the end zone. Maybe Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland. But the Bears should win this game. I know all the money's going to roll to the Bears, but watch for that -7.5. I took the -7.5 because of the Bears' defense against a rookie quarterback like Shador. Okay, but you never know. All this money's going to be rolling in. You know how Vegas rolls. Right, let's go to the next game. We have the Panthers favored at the New Orleans Saints. We also saw what the Saints did to the Buccaneers. They're playing the spoiler role. They would love nothing more than to beat the pants out of the Carolina Panthers. I told you earlier this year that the Panthers are a psycho type of team, right? They remind you of a Jekyll and Hyde team, right? Um, some games offensively they look fantastic, and then some games they just look like shit. A Bryce Young will look great one weekend and then will look like shit the following weekend. What do I expect from this game? I expect the Panthers to win. That's why I'm moneylining them. I expect the over and under to be 39.5. I expect over 39.5. Most of the points coming from the Panthers. The -2.5 sounds right. Okay, so everything seems like the Panthers. You know how Vegas is going to play this. Yet another game where I think people, if I'm the public out there as a sports bettor, whether you're amateur or professional, I'm going to even money this game, right? Because if all the money gets thrown to the Panthers, you're looking at upset city. That's how Vegas is. They'll pick up that phone. Hey, Kellen Moore, can you put some points up? Hey, Panthers, you need to drop this game. That's how it's been going. That's how it's been going this season, right? Upset specials. Let's go to the next game, probably the game of the weekend. You got the Lions, Detroit Lions at the LA Rams. Man, you talk about a preview of what could be the championship game. Okay. Wow. That Lions offense is looking fantastic lately. This is why I'm going to take the over of 50.5. I'm also going to take the underdog Lions to win this game. I'm a money line the Lions, and I'm going to take the +4.5. Even money in this game for both teams. Detroit's offense can match the Rams' offense. Detroit's defense is they're gonna struggle against this tough Rams offense. Touchdowns, well, you could pick anyone on Detroit's offense to score. Same with the Rams, okay? The big three, obviously, from all these teams is Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? And for the Rams, it's always Puka, Devontae, and Kyron Williams, okay? But there are plenty of guys that you could pick from for touchdown parlays in this game. I'm going to go for the upset, and I'm going to put down that money line is for the Lions. I told you the over 50.5, plenty of offense in this game. And I think that +4.5. I just think the Rams are going to struggle trying to stop the running game for the Detroit Lions. So this is a tough one. This is why I put an asterisk next to that game. Let's move on. We got now the Colts at the Seahawks. Guys, losing Daniel Jones, probably the worst thing that could happen to the Colts. At one point, they were 7-1, and then they just proceeded to drop, 4 of their last 5 games. Now they're at 8-5. I'm not even sure this team has a shot at making the playoffs, and I am saying that. They did bring in 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. I'm not sure if he signed yet, but wow. It's at that point where they can't even trust the backup quarterback, right? Well, where's Anthony Richardson? Now I like that kid. I believe his name is Leonard Riley, right, from Notre Dame. But I don't think he's going to help you guys. I think the Seahawks defense. I think just the Seahawks are going to blow this team wide open if the Colts decide to make Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren the package for Sunday's game. Those are 2 good touchdown parlays to get. I think if Jonathan Taylor is going to be the main focus for the Colts, they have a chance. But this is a tough Seattle defense. They're tough on the ground. They got a good rushing defense. I just think the Seahawks' weapons of Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba, right? I think also Cooper Kupp could get in that end zone. A.J. Barner. Okay, you're looking at Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. It's just those are touchdown parlays you can get. But I'm a money line the Seahawks. I'm taking the over and under of 46.5. We're going to go with the over. The -3.5. Yeah, I'm taking that -3.5. I think the Colts season is done. I think they get upset here with the Texans win. Now the Texans are now going to get in position to override this team down the road. I just think the season ended when Daniel Jones went down. That's just too tough of an injury to get, especially the way he was playing this year for that team. All right, I'm going to do now the Packers at the Broncos, yet another game of the weekend. I know lots of you are loving the fact that this game's in Denver. Hopefully, there's some snow to come with it. Remember that 1983 game? If you're as old as me, you remember that blizzard game between the Broncos and the Packers. Well, guess what? If we get that snow again in Denver, that it could happen again. But I think the real blizzard's going to be the Packers coming in and winning this game by -1.5. So take the Packers, right? They are the favorite for the game, which is surprising, right? Take the Packers money line, take the over and under. I'm going with the over 42.5. I'm taking that spread of -1.5. Okay. I just feel that the Packers just have a little bit more of an offense. This is a tougher game with Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson will be part of this game plan. I think the Packers' weapons on the outside, Jordan Love is playing a little bit better. They are coming off a tough victory against the Bears. As for the Denver Broncos, and I always hate when you play a weaker team before playing a better team. So I think that's going to play into it. I think that, hey, we beat the Raiders, but the Raiders are a shit team. Now you're going to play a much better team, a team that's 2 times better than the Raiders. And I think that's going to play into it. I think the Denver defense is going to continue to play great. The inconsistency of Bo Nix is what's going to hurt Denver in this game, and it's going to be an eye-opener. But I think the Packers win. I think Micah Parsons gets crazy on his offense. Touchdowns from Broncos. Look for R.J. Harvey, maybe a rushing touchdown. Look for Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, maybe Cortland Sutton. Okay, if not, Evan Ingram could get in the end zone. They're not using him much. I don't know what the problem is with that. But the Packers, you got Josh Jacobs, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, guys like that. So look for the Packers, money line them over and under, take the over of 42.5 and take the -1.5. The Packers are favorite. So let me just pause this and I'm going to show you the whiteboard real quick before we move on to the last 3 games of the weekend. All right, guys, here we go, showing you my whiteboard. All right. All right. Let me pause and show you the other side. All right, guys, these are the other games that we spoke about. All right. Hopefully you guys copy most of it down. All right. Now let's do the final 3 games of this weekend. All right, guys, thank you for showing me the whiteboard. We got one more whiteboard to show you for the remainder of this weekend. So let's start off with the Titans at the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, we're going to take the 49ers as the money line. That's obvious. We're going to take the over and under of 44.5. And we're going to take that -12.5. This looks like all the money's going to roll to the 49ers. But let me just warn you that when you have high spreads like this and you have a game where you just know the opponent's going to whip the shit out of the other guys, all the money in Vegas is going to roll to that team, and then funny business happens. Is this a funny business game? I'm going to tell you right now, straight, and this is as honest as I can say it. Titans are coming off a nice victory over the Cleveland Browns, right? But at the same time, it was the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Titans do have a decent defense. It's not a bad defense. They got a good front line, good set of linebackers and secondary. But their offense is real shitty. I mean, it's rough to get touchdowns from the Titans, and that's been their downfall this past season. The 49ers, they're running with Christian McCaffrey, right? That's their MVP. You do have George Kittle. You do have a couple of weapons in Kendrick Bourne and Jawan Jennings and guys like that. So if you're looking for touchdown parlays, look for Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, maybe Jawan Jennings. If you're looking for the Titans, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, maybe Alec Manor, okay, the wide receiver. What's that other kid? He's doing very well. The rookie, number 17, Dickey, right? Chicky Dickey, I think is his name. All right, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but They rarely get in the end zone. It's hard to pick anybody for a touchdown parlay from the Titans. Just roll with the 49ers and their touchdown parlays. So I'm going to money line the 49ers. I'm going with the under 44.5. Most of the points will come from the San Francisco 49ers. Again, at minus 12.5, or the money's going to roll towards the 49ers, and you're looking at upset city. If you want to take that plus 12.5, feel free to do so. I just feel like it's one of these games where when I look at all of it, it's easy to take the 49ers, but you know how that's going to happen, right? You know how Vegas plays that funny stuff. All right, we're getting towards the end. We have the Dallas Cowboys, right? Vikings at the Dallas Cowboys. On paper, before the season started, this looked like one of those games you would be looking forward to watching. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Cowboys got their ass beat last week by the Detroit Lions. They came down to earth, and finally the sight of George Pickens everyone has been waiting for is starting to resurface. The guy just doesn't give 100%, guys. Unless he's getting the football, he's going to be happy. This is why the Steelers got rid of him. I know you guys have been happy all through the years saying, oh my God, what a great trade this was for the Dallas Cowboys. Well, now you're getting the real George Pickens, right? The guy that loafs, the guy that just doesn't give 100% on blocking situations. I mean, if you saw that game last Thursday night against Detroit, we all knew the Lions were going to win. We all knew the Cowboys weren't going to win that game. But what made it worse was that the Cowboys had this game close enough where they could have possibly pulled the upset. And their best wide receiver at the time, CeeDee Lamb, went down with a concussion. George Pickens had to step up, and he just didn't do it, guys. This is not your future, okay? CeeDee Lamb's your future. And when this offseason comes around, he won't be a Dallas Cowboy. Mark my words with that one. I don't think Jerry Jones is going to spend another $100 million on a guy that can't give you 100%. He would be very stupid. I think George Pickens pretty much nailed his own coffin at the end of the year for free agency. Is he a talent? Absolutely. But he's also a headache. Okay, so he cost you that game against Detroit. I think he rebounds, has a big game. Okay, and then all that talk about, how George Pickens is having a great year begins again. I'm not buying into it. I am going to moneyline the Cowboys because the Vikings are no better. I mean, they're having a disappointing season, but they have a better defense than the Cowboys. And I think Brian Flores and that defense is going to do something special this Sunday night. I'm gonna asterisk this game as a tough bet. I don't like this game for the Cowboys at all. I think the Cowboys saw that Eagles loss, and now the pressure falls back on Dallas. Like, what we're gonna do now? The Eagles lost on Monday night. They're giving us an opportunity, but I think the Eagles win this weekend. And I think the Cowboys, they just get by. So we're money line the Cowboys. We're taking the over 46.5 because I think both teams have to get in the end zone. I just think the Vikings don't have the offensive power to hang in there. But I think defensively for the Vikings, they're gonna create some problems for the Cowboys. But the only way the Cowboys lose this game is if they get into George Pickens' head and he has another bad game. Or another key injury. Is CeeDee Lamb coming back? I don't know. Take that +7, okay? But touchdowns will come from either Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams, maybe Ryan Flournoy, right? For the Vikings, I'm always putting Justin Jefferson in there, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, I should say, Jordan Mason, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, but it's been a disappointing year. This is a disappointing game all around for Sunday night. I hope NBC does that flex schedule that they always do every year, and I hope they put the Lions and Rams in this spot. Okay, that would be a better game to watch. But anyway, that's how I feel about the Dallas Cowboys at the moment. I mean, they'll win this game, but I don't know. This George Pickens thing is comical to watch. And now they're seeing the real George Pickens. And the final game, spoken like a true Steelers fan. I'm going to take the money line on the Steelers. I'm going to take the over and under. I'm going to take the over 43.5 because I don't think the Steelers defense is going to stop this offense either. But I am going to take the -3. I think Chris Boswell beats the Dolphins by a field goal, or maybe they win this game by 4, like 24-20, something like that. But it's going to be around that area. I don't know the status of Devon Achane. I don't know if he's going to play. He did suffer an injury against the Jets. Touchdowns from Miami might come from Devon A-Chain. If not, Ollie Gordon. Look for him. He's a tough guy. Look for Malik Washington, a sneaky player that could get in the end zone. And look for Jalen Waddle, right, against that secondary of the Steelers. As far as the Steelers, touchdowns, DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren, Pat Fryermuth, but it's going to be a low scoring, right? Low scoring today in today's NFL is in the 20s. That's why I set the over is 43.5, like maybe a 24-21 type of game, right? That's what I'm looking at. But this game is going to fall down to the quarterback play of both teams. I just think Aaron Rodgers is the much better quarterback. I think Tua, oh man, how is he winning these games? But he does have had us off the schedule. They should have been winning these games. In fact, their record should be reversed, 7-6 or 8-5 going into this game. Instead, they're 6-7. And it's because of the quarterback play of Tua. I'm not thrilled with this guy. I don't trust this guy. And yet everybody, for some reason, makes it sound like he's having a great year. He beat the Jets, people. Everybody beats the Jets, including the Steelers beat the Jets. Okay, so let's not make a big deal out of this. Tua is going to fall back to earth. TJ's going to knock him into the next sensation. And I just think the Tua gives this game away with two picks or something like that. That short passing game might help him. That could be the difference. I mean, if the Dolphins want a chance to win this game, you got to depend on Ollie Gordon and Devon A-Chain and that short passing game. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Steelers know that. I think the Steelers coming off that big win against Baltimore revived them a little bit. And I think they steal this victory. Well, let me show you the whiteboard. Okay, let me show it to you right now because I already did it. So let me show it to you exactly who I'm rolling with. These are the final 3 games of this weekend. There we go. All right. There you go. The asterisks indicating that those are the tough bets. All right. Well, we pretty much finished up this weekend talking about who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what's going on around the NFL. I can honestly tell you it's bad officiating. Sports bettors like me and professional sports bettors, amateurs and whatnot, they're taking a beating this year with the NFL. I really don't trust these games no more. I know what I see. I know what I'm calling. I've been there. I've seen everything. And I give you this edge for free. So hit that like and subscribe button and leave your comments below. And, that's the way it's been this season for a lot of you guys, right? Including me, right? Every weekend it seems like there's this one game or an upset that's happening that shouldn't be happening. And it's happening, guys. But let's see how we do this weekend. It's going to be another good weekend. A lot of teams that are contending, that are pretenders, like the Dallas Cowboys and teams like that. I hate to spoil Cowboys fans' season, but if anything, you guys can finish 8-6-1. That's not a bad record to have. Wait, 8-6-1. How many games are there in the season? 17. Jesus. Maybe they are going to get 8 wins. Maybe they'll finish at 500, 8-1. Okay, that's not a bad season for the Cowboys. I wasn't expecting them to be anywhere. Atlanta Falcons have been disappointing this year. Carolina Panthers, surprisingly, could be a 9-8 team. They could sneak in there, right? Arizona's disappointing this year, right? Same could be said for the Pittsburgh Steelers, disappointing this year. They really should have a better record than that. Who else? Baltimore Ravens, another team that's disappointed. Miami Dolphins, disappointing. Surprise teams like the Patriots, right? They were a year or 2 away. Chicago, a year or 2 away. Those teams are, playing good football. Minnesota, another team that's disappointing, right? We could go on and talk about this, but we'll save that for another time. But anyway, that's the type of year we've been going through. It's been kind of a crazy season, to say the least, right? Bad officiating, upset specials happening all over the place. A lot of money that Vegas is playing around with. That's the life of a gambler, people. Okay, I always tell you to bet small to win big. And sometimes what happens is you're betting small, but you're not getting the victories. You're not winning on your parlays. I mean, they always say that it's a no-no to parlay stuff, but guys, when you're betting small, you like to parlay because you want a bigger payday, right? If you're a big time gambler, I know you guys are taking losses. So anyway, that's the year we're having. Happy holidays to everyone, and I hope you guys enjoy this weekend. I try to give you this edge for free. Hit that like and subscribe button and leave your comments below. Much appreciated. So, guys, good luck this weekend. Hopefully, we get it this time. So, good luck, and hopefully things go our way. Have fun this weekend, guys. And yet again, happy holidays for everyone out there. Safe shopping. Please drive safe out there when you're going shopping and be safe out there, okay? So happy holidays, people.